understand what is the morphology of a cell now. So what is the basic structure of a cell? So unicellular, one cell for sure. But if I say please remove one cell from the cat's body and then let it function independently, would it be able to do that? The large animal will have larger number of cells and small animals will have small cells. Okay? Hello guys, this is Devika once again, and we are basically talking about the fundamental unit of life, isn't it? And today in this particular session, we are going to talk about morphology of cell. Cell कैसे होता है? What is the different kind of morphology? So basically, what is morphology? Morphology is the structure, size, right? Size, shape, structure, all of those. So we'll understand what is the morphology of a cell now. Okay, so a cell is a structural and functional unit of all the living organism. That is something that we have learned already, right? So the sizes, right, shapes of the cell, they are of various types, right? Look at that cat or look at just yourself. So we have eyes, nose, it has a tail, ear, all of them are doing different function and they have different structure as well, isn't it? And this goes on increasing with the complexity of the organism. Simple organism, simple structure. Complex organism, more complex structure, right? So like the simple organism over here, bacteria. Single cell, no tension, everything will happen in the same cell. Digestion, if it has to do circulation, every metabolic process is happening only in that single cell. But us, we have different, right? Like over here, this Mr. Cat has different cells in it and they are doing different functions as well, isn't it? So, let it be the unicellular organism or let it be the multicellular organism, let it be a simple organism, let it be a complex organism like that one. Okay, the basic structure of a cell always remain the same, right? It remains the same. So what is the basic structure of a cell? The basic structure of a cell is, the cell membrane. So this one is the cell membrane. So it has to have the cell membrane for sure, right? Then it also has to have the cytoplasm. Okay. So the cytoplasm is a jelly-like structure in which most of the metabolic processes will occur. So it has to have the cytoplasm for sure. Definitely. Right? Then what else it should have? It should have the nucleus. Okay? It should have the nucleus. Now, nucleus in case of some cells is stored inside a nuclear membrane. In case of some cell, there is no nuclear membrane. The DNA is just lying in it. But the DNA is there, so the nucleic acid presence of nucleic acid is very important. What is nucleic acid? Nucleic acid is your DNA and RNA. Okay? This has to be there. DNA is what? The genetic material. So this has to be there. Alright, then comes. So this is the basic structure of the typical cell. Let it be a complex one, let it be a very simple one, bacterial cell. This thing, cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus should be there for sure. Okay. So you don't see this thing into the viruses, by the way. In the viruses, you do not have cytoplasm, you do not have cell membrane over there. Yes, the genetic material DNA or RNA might be present, but all of that is held inside a coat protein. Okay, it is held inside a coat protein. So they have this coat proteins and inside there you have the nucleic acid. That's it. So it doesn't have cytoplasm, nothing. That is why it is always a topic of debate in the scientific community whether these viruses are living or non-living. We would rather say that's a link between living and non-living substances, right? So outside the body, they are metabolically inactive, and inside the body, they start to develop and reproduce, right, by hijacking our DNA. So that's why there's a debate over there. So cells, we do not call, viruses, we do not call them as the cells, right? But cells is something which is present in plants, in animals, right? In bacteria, yes, they are present. Now, how can we understand different organism based on the morphology of the cell? First comes the number of cell. So based on number of cells, you can have unicellular or multicellular, right? Unicellular like your bacteria, or multicellular like your cat or you or your dog, okay? Any complex organism, or even your rose plant or the tulsi plant that you have. All of us are multicellular. Multi having many cells, uni having single cell. Let's just understand this with the help of a table in short time. So how is the features, what is there in unicellular and what is there in the multicellular? The first feature is the cell number. So uni definitely means 1, isn't it? So unicellular, 1 cell for sure. Many cells in multicellular. Definitely. Okay. Now here function. All the function are carried out by the single particular cell, right? Performed by one and only one cell. It is that bacterial cell, isn't it? In the bacterial cell, what do you have? The cell, and then you have the nucleus, the DNA material, which is, just placed inside it. You will see little bit of ribosomes here and there, right? And then the cilia, and if it is a flagellated one, it will also have a flagella. That's all. Isn't it? That's all. So, everything, every metabolic process that is required by this bacteria to survive is been happening in the same cell itself. On the other hand, the multicellular, we have different cells performing different function. Heart cell performing its own function of pumping, isn't it? The eye cell performing visualization. Right now you are seeing and understanding, so you are putting your eyes and brain cells at function. Brain cells are taking the visuals and storing it in the form of memory, ears, auditory receptor, receiving the sound. So many cells doing different functions. Yeah, our life is quite complex. Then division of labor. If one cell is present, with whom will it divide its job? It will do everything by itself, so completely absent. We have division of labor, everybody doing its own job, right? All type of cells doing its own job. Now, heart cell will not say, hey, I'm tired of pumping, let me do your job of respiring for some time. No, not possible, right? So, division of labor is over there. Then, lifespan. Yes, unicellular have less lifespan, one single cell, isn't it? Whereas, multicellulars have longer, right? They have longer lifespan. They have longer lifespan. Us, the cats, the dogs, plants, more lifespan. Whereas shorter, for if you need an example, E. coli, Escherichia coli, it has a lifespan of 20 minutes. That's all. Minutes. I'm not even talking about hours. So they live for some minutes. That's all. Not even days. Fantastic. Now, when we talk about this bacteria, and these bacteria are grown in the lab, they are grown in such a way. Now, do you know what is this? This is a colony of bacteria. This is a colony of bacteria. That means many bacterial cells coming and staying together over here. Now, when we say it is a colony of bacteria, do you think we can call it as a multicellular then? Because there are many cells, isn't it? So, should we call this as multicellular or unicellular? If not, why not? The reason behind it is this is a colony. Colony is a cluster of identical type of unicellular organisms growing together. Okay, they live together, that's all. But just like we all stay in a colony, but then are we one family? No, right? We are not. We are all separate. Our neighbors do their own job. We do our own job. We are in a colony doesn't mean that we are one family. Right? Similar way, colony is a cluster of identical unicellular organisms living together. Yeah? But on top of it, if we want to differentiate between multicellular organism and the colony, very simple. If you can remove a single cell from this, okay, there are techniques to remove that, okay. So we call it as the isolation of cells. So when we isolate a single cell, it has the capacity to divide further, right? It has the capacity to divide further and grow into the new cells altogether, right? So they are individuals and they can perform their own function. But if I say, please remove one cell from the cat's body and then let it function independently, would it be able to do that? No, right? That is not possible, and that is why these things, the colonies of bacteria, are not to be said as multicellular. All right. Now, coming to the next point, that the variations, just like in the size we have seen right now, okay, their shapes are different and the shapes of the cell depend on their function. Like if you talk about the RBC, RBC has a biconcave shape. Biconcave shape is like this, okay, like a pedha. You have seen pedha for sure, I guess, right? Round stuff, but in center it is just pressed down, right? So concave. This side concave, this side concave. This shape is so specializedly developed so that there is more and more O2 binding over here. Maximum oxygen binding can be done. That is why that shape has been adopted by the RBC. When we talk about our nerve cells, right? When we talk about the nerve cells, these nerve cells are quite long. They are some meter long. Okay, yes, meter long. You heard me right. Near about in humans it is 1 meter, and if you talk about a giraffe, it can be 3 meter long. Okay, then you have mycoplasm. Mycoplasms are like, you know, bacteria without any cell wall. They are the smallest cells, so they are very small. All right. So, now my next question to you is, if you can answer this me in the chat box, please pause the video and answer it. Do big animals have large cells and small animals have small cells? What do you think? We have come from unicellular to multicellular. Now in multicellular also, we have large animal like this elephant and small animal like that rat over there, right? So now what do you think? Do the elephant cells are larger in size than the rat cells? Yes or no? Just try. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case. Only the number differs. The large animal will have larger number of cells and small animals will have small cells. Okay. So, for a cell to function efficiently, why not one big large cell? Why so many cells? So see, when we talk about big animals, complexity is more job has to be done, more function has to be done. So small size result into quick and rapid communication and transfer of substances. It also increases the surface to volume ratio, right? It also increases the surface to volume ratio. That's why the number of cell may vary in both the animals over here, not the size, not the size. Now, what is the surface area to volume ratio? Let's understand. Okay, so imagine that's a cell, and that cell is now near about 30 microns. Okay, 30 microns is the size of it. It's a cube. Okay, the cell shape is a cube. So now if we have to calculate the surface area, how will we do it? So 30 into 30 into 6, right? So that is how we will do it, and it comes near about somewhere near 5,400 square meters. Okay? So micrometers, that is how we will find it. So that is the size. 5400 micrometer cubic square. Okay, so that is the surface volume. Now imagine this particular cell being divided into many numbers. Okay, so now you have made near about 27 cubes of this, and each small piece of it is near about 10 micrometers. Now how will we do it? 10 into 10 into 6, because 6 sides of cubes, right? So that is how we will try to find out the surface area. What would be the surface area now? Previously, the surface area was near about 5400 micrometers, right? 5400 micrometers. Now, we have seen how did it come, right? We have seen over here, yeah, micrometers. Okay? So, we have seen how it has come. Now, we have divided this and it has come near about 16,200 micrometers, the surface area. Now imagine this or compare this with, I have given you a big sugar cube, okay? In big markets, you'll get those big sugar cubes as well. Okay, I have given you 1 glass of water, and of the same weight, this is 100 gram of big sugar cube, and of the same weight, you have been provided 100 gram of sugar. Which one will dissolve faster into the water? Obviously, you will say the sugar powder or the smaller sugar molecule, the shaped sugar crystals. Right? The crystals will get faster than the cube. Why so? Because the same weight is same, everything is same, but the surface area with the contact of the water would increase in the next one, right? In the crystal form than the cube. Because here the surface size is same, chemically it is same, but surface area is much smaller than that, right? So when we increase the surface area, that's all the idea about increasing the surface area, right? So more amount of absorption can be done over here, right? What are the benefits of increasing the surface area? Greater diffusion of the substances can happen. More and more oxygen can be diffused inside, right? Easy repair of damaged cell. Now one big large cell getting damaged, it is very difficult to replace it. But if it is small cells, right? If it is small cells, then what would happen? These small cells, if some of them are getting damaged, then what we can do? We can replace it easily, isn't it? We can replace one damaged cell easily. Yes, that's the thing. Easy passage of nutrients into the cell. Even when we talk about digestion, we have villi, which increases the surface area. More and more absorption can happen, right? So easy digestion, easy absorption. Convenient exit of metabolic waste. In the kidneys, we don't have one single nephron. We have millions of nephrons present over there so that they can help in filtration of the excreta, the urine from there. Easy exchange of respiratory gases. Respiratory gases exchange site is your alveoli. Alveoli is actually giving so much of surface area to your lungs that it can, if you spread out a human lung, it can actually cover half a tennis ground. Okay, fantastic, isn't it? Right? So increased surface area, more exchange of gases can happen easily. Right? Now let's have some extra information over here. So different sizes and shapes. Sizes we have talked about. Let's talk about the shapes. Oval shape, right? Oval shapes are your mesophyll cells, right? Oval shapes. Okay. Then there are spindle shaped. Spindle is basically when we wind a thread over an axis, it will become tapering at the end and mota in the center. This one, okay, this shape. This shape. So this is called as spindle shape, right? The smooth muscle fibers, so that they can, like an elastic, they can be extended and contracted. Then we have elongated nerve cells. I told you already, nerve cells, they can be very long into the meters. They have to conduct signals. They are like wires. They are conducting signals up and down from our brain. We have biconcave. We have already discussed the RBCs over here. Right? Amoeboid cells, like amoeba, no particular shape, your WBCs, alright. Then columnar cells. Columnar cells are the cells which have long pillar-like cells. Not cuboidal shape, they are columnar cells. Okay? So this are seen in the epithelial cells, the coverings of our body. Okay? Then we have glandular cells. The cells which can secrete enzymes, hormones, right? Like your saliva. Saliva is getting secreted by your salivary gland. So those are glandular cells. Then we have bean-shaped cells, the guard cells, the stomata, right? The stomata cells, and platelets, which do not have any particular shape. Again, they are irregular kind of a shape because they have to make a mesh around the wound and plug the blood flow, right, to make a clot. So those are the shapes, different shapes. Now, what about the sizes? Are they all same? No. They also vary in the size. To understand, right, here are some examples. PPLO, mycoplasm, it's also called as PPLO. Okay, so that is near about 0.2 micrometers. Very, very small. So this is the smallest cell in the world among all the living organisms. Okay, smallest cell is mycoplasm. Then we have smallest human cell, which is near about 4 micrometer. That's the sperm cell, right? As well as RBCs. RBCs are near about 6 to 8 micrometers in diameter. That's all. Very small, very close to sperm cells. Then largest human cell is the ovum, the egg cell found in the females. Then largest cell in all the living organism is the ostrich egg, which is near about 18 centimeter in diameter. Quite big, and that's the only cell which we can see by naked eye. Single cell that we can see by the naked eyes. Okay. Then the longest cell is a nerve cell. 1 meter long. It can be about 1 meter long, and as I told you, in giraffe, it can be near about 3 meters long as well. Alright. So that was about the morphology of cells. We'll surely meet again with new topic. Till then, keep learning. See you soon.